Hello, Canada and the rest of the world. Coming to you from Bauhaus Studios in beautiful downtown Port Credit, it's the Tom and Rick Show for Wednesday, December 9th. Joining us tonight, celebrity chef, author, and restaurateur Massimo Capra, author, musician, and performance coach Catherine Harrison, Grammy Award-winning musicologist Professor Rob Bowman, singer-songwriter Tommy Swick, and as always, Cooking with Carson. And now here are your hosts, Tom Barlow and Rickford Van Dyke.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Tom and Rick Show. It is the third show in lockdown of lockdown number 2.
Yes, we're patiently waiting.
Christmas is on its way, and what we're going to do right now here on the Tom and Rick Show is we're going to take all your Christmas shopping anxieties away, because there is something for everyone on your Christmas list right here. Our friend Jack de Kaiser, one of Canada's premier bluesmen, came on. He has a new album. Send this to the blues fans on your Christmas list. Our very own Carson Freeman and his very own twin brother Curtis Freeman have a Christmas album, so pick that up. This thing is selling like hotcakes. Apparently there are only a few left.
Yes, and we'll put a link down there where you can go and get them for your friends and family from the good-looking twin. I don't know which one is that.
The other one.
All right.
Our friend Peter Rowe had this amazing book called Music and the Man, about the history of music as a revolutionary force and how society, or the man, has not always been too kind to it. Gord Depp from The Spoons, great friend of the show. He has a book for your friends who love the new wave. There it is.
That's me.
Sinister from our friend Stan Mychek.
Best bass player in Canada, rock bass player, is Mr. Stan Mychek. He's done this
He has
awesome
an album
record.
that's
He
available.
Sings, plays guitar.
We will put links to all of this stuff. Our friends Baywater Call have a fantastic piece of vinyl.
Dave and Meg, great people.
Really great.
Great record.
Great guitar player, great singer, what a band. And we have a piece of very exciting and benevolent news, I think we'll say. And that is, as you know, we're all volunteers on the show. Occasionally, a company will come around, someone will say, we love what you're doing, and they'll donate some money. And a couple of days ago, I got a call. Is this Tom from the Tom and Rick Show? I said, yes, it is. She said, well, I would like to support you guys. I'm going to drop by some money for you. And she came by and gave me a few copies of this really cool magazine.
Very cool mag.
And an envelope with a check. And the check was for $1,000.
It's just unbelievable.
$1,000 to the Tom and Rick Show. We
Supporting.
were just so.
Yeah, you're supporting our obviously us, you know, what we do, and then our crew too are actually, they're professionals and they don't do their regular job, so she's supporting us trying to do
She
a
sure
job.
did, and
it's the only one we have right
I
now.
called her back and said, "Oh shit! I mean, this is a lot.
Thank you very
We'd
much.
like to thank you." And she said, "Please don't thank me, but if you could, please put a shout out to the conspiracy to promote artists." See that? That's her. Oh, so hard to get it. There we go. The conspiracy to support artists. If that's not an amazing slogan,
And
I
thank
don't
you.
know what is.
And thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We all here at the show thank you. Now, many things to talk about. I know we've already talked about many things, many more. Our friend Tiago is one of our favorite chefs. He has just launched his own brand of hot sauce. It's right here. I'm terrible with this. If you would like to get some of that, we will put a link to how you can find it. It is delicious.
It's very delicious.
You probably have had hints of this at Door 55 or Spice, where Tiago
Spice.
has worked on occasion. Our friend Gracie has a brand new music video. We're going to put a link to that. We can't actually put the clip because it's some sort of copyright thing and Facebook takes it down. So, but we will put a link. Gracie, congratulations on your first video and single. Now you have news about what's happening in the community.
Okay. We also like to thank Bob Shea. Bob Shea is also sponsoring all the artists that come and play on our show. He's actually paying them because he's a huge music fan.
Yes, and we do make sure they get paid on the show.
Yes, we'd like to pay the musicians who come and you see people play on our show. We'd like to give them something. It's actually a gig, and we don't have many, and we like to help out as much as we can. And that's where your money went all PBS. And that's where your money comes in handy, folks. And that's true. Thank you so much, Bob. And his company, Your Lab, you can go to that.
Right here, this is the logo.
Your Lab, UR Lab.
Yes.
And you can make all your own promotional stuff, or just if you want a shirt with your face on it, or a mask with your face on it, or whatever you want, you can design that on this website, and he'll make it and send it to you. Also, The Shore are one of our favorite restaurants.
Yes, it is.
Maureen's fantastic. Love her. And I thank you for the garage. And I did my brakes. Cam. Anyway, yeah, I broke the guy's jack, but I'll fix it. Anyway, so the family pack this week is my favorite. Fajitas. You gotta like fajitas. And there's 50% off of her booze too. So 50% off of beer, but most importantly, 50% off her wine. Now I've heard from wine people, I'm not a wine person,
Yes.
that some of the wines there are very good and you can get them
They
for
have
cheap.
delicious wines.
Cheap, okay. And also just
What an easy dinner, right? An easy
Yeah.
dinner. You order in, it's enough food for 4 people,
It totally
and you got
is.
your wine or your beer, and you're done. You don't have to think about it.
half price wine, ladies. Okay.
I'm a wine drinker, too.
I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm just going by what women tell me.
It's okay.
I don't know anything about wine. So, and also keep our friends of mine, Tim from Timothy's. He's doing takeout, so please check it out. And Rockin' Docs is doing takeout as well.
I just
Go
saw they
see-
had a special. Sorry for interrupting you.
Oh,
They had
no.
a special wings and beer special.
There you go. If you just want wings and beer,
Put on the ball game.
please don't
have
hesitate
some
to
wings
go.
and
Don't
beer.
hesitate to go down to Rockin' Docs and get yourself some takeout as well.
We love those guys.
Now our YouTube channel.
We have a YouTube channel. Les has been uploading all the shows to the YouTube channel. It is The Tom and Rick Show on YouTube. So make sure you check that out.
Smash that like and subscribe. That's what the kids do.
Is that what they do?
Smash and like. I don't
like.
know.
Folks, we have an unbelievable lineup today on the show. We have
Man.
Catherine Harrison, great author, singer-songwriter,
Yes.
super interesting. We have Canada's most famous celebrity chef, Massimo Capra. We have one of the most interesting human beings that I've ever spoken to in my life, that we've ever spoken to. Professor Rob Bowman is going to talk about his experiences
Boom! Stay
hanging
tuned
out
for that.
with Bob Marley, of all things. We have Judy Wilrich on the
Yes.
show. It's going to talk about her photo series.
See, the lovely thing about people just like in the first lockdown, and she did a lovely thing and put it all online about people in their windows. She took great pictures of it.
Yeah, and finally, we have one of my favorite singer-songwriters, Juno Award winner Tommy Swick. What a show!
Yeah, he's apparently he's living off the land. He can play and sing, wick, and field dress an animal. Field dress an animal.
That is a broad skill set. Ladies and gentlemen, a massive show, and we will be right back.
Ah!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Tom and Rick Show. This is not Rick.
Yeah, Rick, he didn't let himself go. He just let himself out. It's me, Carson.
Our own, we're going to call you a micro-celebrity chef.
Yeah.
Our own chef, Carson Freeman, is here today because we have one of the most revered, well-known, iconic chefs in Canadian history here with us today. We are honored to have with us Massimo Capra. Thanks very much for coming in today, Massimo. How are you doing?
Pleasure to be here. It's absolutely great.
Well, you are a celebrity author. We've seen you on TV on Chopped, Canada's Top Chef, Wall of Chefs.
Yeah.
Your food wins awards. Your books about food win awards. There's so many chefs in the country, in the world. How is it that you become, obviously because you can do great food,
Yeah.
obviously because you have a gregarious personality, but we had several chefs who have trained under you who said
That's right.
Massimo's attention to detail is second to none. What is it in all these things that makes you so successful as a chef?
Well, you know what? I mean, I had a lot of time now. It's been 9 months since I've been in a kitchen really working. But I discovered one thing, that my drive is about the food that I eat. Okay. So what I want to give people when they come to my restaurant is the same experience that I'm having when I'm having the food that I'm making. Okay. So there is a drive to have always the best and the top and the best of everything that I can make.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that really keeps driving me constantly. I never stop. I keep reading. I keep watching videos. And now we are in the golden age of YouTube videos and Instagram and all that. Everyone at home is making stuff that even restaurant cannot achieve. You know, I mean, it's so beautiful to see. I don't know how much of that is, staged or whatever. But we have in the restaurant business, we are charged with having to prepare food that actually you, the guest, will enjoy.
Right.
And that is extremely difficult. Mm-hmm. So you have to start off always with great quality product, and you have a great mindset in order to prepare it properly. Shortcuts are not allowed. you know.
Well, I'm a regular at Capra's in Clarkson, which you have to go to because it's like a little trip to Italy. I mean, I find it a bit like going on vacation. The other day I had some sort of frozen coffee chocolate smoothie. I didn't know what that thing was, but it changed my life in that moment. But it's from the staff, from the greeting, from the decor. Everything is just always right. And it's so refreshing to see that.
We try, you know what I mean? It's a very trying experience, that one of owning a restaurant. I mean, I can tell you that, you know, I'm so glad that, you know, Clarkson accepted me and they embraced me actually as part of the community now. But for the first year and a half, I thought I was gonna lock the doors, walk away, and just call my losses, right?
Well, I'm glad that didn't happen because it's such a good place to go.
It's kind of a destination.
It's been a very difficult work to be outside in a suburban area like Clarkson, where you know, I mean, we know transportation is iffy. You know, finding staff, they all want to be downtown with the big names and the big guys, and you know, downtown also.
You're the big name.
Yeah, no, but you know what? I'm a single guy, right? I mean, it's a single unit, so it's not like my guys can finish work and they can go to after-hour club or something. You know what I mean? So the level of entertainment is slightly different. We are more in a residential area here. So, I mean, I know the Port Credit is great. You guys, you know, I come to see you all the time, right? I mean, at the shores and all that, and I really enjoy it. The music is amazing and everything else is great. But, you know, there is something to be said about being in the downtown environment when there is a lot more of everything that you're looking for.
Right.
Well, speaking of that, I met you first at Mistura Sopra.
Yeah, that's right.
Playing at Sopra. And one testament to your success, because I'm a big fan of the restaurant. We both are, the restaurant industry.
Yeah.
I say I like it so much that I'd never do it. Because I know so much about it.
Smart guy.
Right. But the key to the success over there when I would perform and whenever I've been to Capra's is you're there. Yes. And that's the tricky part about owning a successful restaurant. You are there all the time, long hours, long days.
I am.
And weekends.
I'm always there. Oh, well, yeah, because you see, the thing is, I worked with a great man. His name was Michael Carlavelle. He used to own Prego della Piazza down in Toronto, right? And you might know it because we had piano players over there that, well,
I
maybe you're
it was
too
on
young.
Yonge Street.
You're too young, maybe.
Well,
we're talking about early 90s.
I was
So,
95.
no, Avenue Road and Bloor.
Yeah.
Avenue Road and Bloor.
Oh, okay.
So Prego della Piazza was a great place owned by a guy named Michael Carlavelle, an expatriate from Boston. And his idea was a restaurant is not just a place of business. A restaurant is your home. So you come in to work when the people come and you leave when the people leave.
Right.
So I was in a position as a chef there that I worked there for 10 years. And I went to work, I left Mississauga at 9 in the morning and I got home at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, sometimes 4 o'clock, because your people, you know, the musicians and the actors and all of these other guys would come in. They would come after. So I had to cook so much and do so much entertaining and being participant of all of those beautiful evenings. And he was 100% right. I don't take it as a business. I mean, you know, I take it more as people coming over to my house.
Right.
So when people come over to my house, I stress out all day because I don't know what to make them, and I want to make sure that they leave happy, and I make sure that everybody's satisfied with what they get.
Right.
So I go out of my way to really make sure that they're getting something.
And this dovetails to our next question, which is, you know, it's such an emotional connection you have to the restaurant that you work in. You curate the food. It's part of your heart and soul. And so when the pandemic hit, and that is sort of taken away from you, how do you pivot? Not only as a business person, but emotionally, how do you pivot and survive that?
Well, that was a big hit on the 18th of March 2020. I mean, that was an incredible hit when we had to shut down and we had a full place, and the next day they said, you cannot open tomorrow. That's it, you got to shut down. It's tough to take. It's tough to take. I mean, you know, you had to make arrangements. You had to absorb the shock. I mean, we were all upset for a couple of weeks. being home, doing nothing, you know what I mean? So we took advantage. We went into the restaurant, we took it all apart, put it back together, fixed everything that was needed to be fixed, and so on and so forth. But you know what? At the end of the day, when you have no customers, you got no business, right? So we thrive on the fact that we are busy, and we are very busy, and with that business comes a lot of income, and that income gets distributed between all of the staff.
Right.
So our first priority was to take care of the staff first. I mean, my secretary and my assistant, they looked after all of the staff, making sure that they all got what they needed to get in order to survive the next 2 months that we thought it was going to be. And then it turned out to be 4 months. And then finally we said, okay, we need to do some business. We need to stay alive. So let's do some takeout. And really that took a lot of consideration, though, because, to open a restaurant just for takeout, when takeout is not even in the planning of my place. I don't really like to do a lot of takeout. It's not something that food at that level doesn't travel very well.
Right.
Come on. Yeah, you're getting a pasta. By the time you take it home, it's all stuck together. Then the people complain because it's not as good as when I eat it at the restaurant. Sorry, it's, we bank on the fact that you are there, you're sitting down, we're making everything fresh to order, you eat it right away, right? Nothing is pre-made or whatever. So, anyway, it's a very tough thing. But then we went through the summer. The summer was actually good. We were able to expand the patio. My landlord is half decent. Is half decent. Yeah. You know what? She's been working. The landlord has been working with us very, very well. You know what I mean? So we got everything organized. It took us a little bit of a fight, a little pull and push, but we finally got everything organized. And then in the summertime, with the double up of the patio, we were having a good time.
Right.
I
went in the summer. Your patio was it was beautifully set up with flowers and everything. It was a good vibe. People were spaced. Everyone was right. You were doing all of the things.
Oh, we are doing
and you
everything.
guys, I felt very safe in that environment.
100%.
And especially in that situation, I found that level of food and service. Once again, we can't go on vacations anymore. It's very difficult.
I know.
So I really appreciated that. Now, did you have to customize your menu and say, okay, we're doing takeout. We can't do this and this, but we can still do this?
100%. Yeah, we had to customize our menu to make it workable, because normally I run my kitchen with eight cooks in it. So I can't hire all 8 cooks when we are only doing, 40, 50 meals takeout. So we customized our menu to make it only the best things that can be taken out.
Right.
The pizza is a tradition, you know what I mean, that you have to have it. So we had all the pizzas, we added all of the appetizer bites that we normally have, because when you come into Capra, the idea is to share a bunch of small appetizers and then have a little pasta or a main course or a pizza and share everything, right?
And it's making me salivate right now just talking about it. What days are you open and what are the hours so that we can order?
We are doing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we start takeout at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
A few examples of what would be on the takeout menu?
Well, on the takeout menu, you have the basket of bread. You have the olives, which I take very special care in procuring, because I buy all olives of a higher grade. They are roasted and sautéed in garlic, and we preserve garlic and chili peppers and lemon rind on top. Really good. Extra virgin olive oil only, because I only use extra virgin olive oil. The only extra virgin olive oil I use is the one with the expiry date, which you know that is actually good.
This is the biggest imposter.
Oh yeah, that's the biggest issue. Yeah. But then we do have, because it's Capra's Kitchen. I'm Italian, so the assumption is that it's Italian food. But what I do is I try to expand a little bit. So we have an incredible hummus. We have the eggplant puree, which it can be called eggplant caviar in the 90s. Then it became a mutable or baba ganoush in the later stage. But it's all the same, because in Sicily that's what they actually make. You know what I mean? Their Arabian influence over the centuries ago, still remained that they do those kind of dishes. But I wanted to bring in labneh. I wanted to bring in, a caponata, which is an eggplant preparation that is fantastic. The fried artichokes and mushrooms. We're gonna have the polenta again because it's been an incredible request for it.
Beautiful.
And those are just the appetizers. Then you have the burrata, you have the prosciutto and all of the cold cuts, and then the salads. And then the pizzas, all 6 or 7 pizzas, plus we have one pizza that changes all the time. So we are able to actually give a little bit of taste of the season, and we cut down the pastas a little bit because, making risotto doesn't travel very well.
Right.
Some of the long noodles, they don't travel very well at all. So we ended up having to switch over some of the noodles and not do some of the regular risottos that we do.
But who would have thought that you, with all of your knowledge and wisdom, are going to sit down and prepare your menu and say, what goes in a car for 30 minutes?
Yeah, that's right. That's
now,
right.
Travels well.
That's
now, Massimo,
right. What travels well? I'll tell you what travels well. Agnolotti and ravioli and cappelletti and all of the other things. Stuffed pasta travels very, very well.
I would like one of each.
Yeah.
Now, before you have to go...
I have them made, actually. If you come over, I'll make a plate.
I'm in. We have a lot of young chefs who've come on here.
Yeah.
Several have worked for you.
Yeah.
And I know it's same in the music business, I find, young artists. Do you advise them to go to culinary school? Do you advise them to work in kitchens and work your way? What if I'm, say, a 22-year-old person with a passion for cooking, how would you guide me on my career path? What would your advice be?
This is a very important question. Culinary school is necessary to get your papers, to get your certificates, to get your, what is it called, the safe cooking certificates and all that. I don't remember the name right now, but all of the stuff is good. You're not going to learn to cook in a culinary school. You're going to learn a little bit of the basics. What's important is to go to restaurants and perhaps volunteer a few days here, a few days there, and figure out what kind of style you like, and then start working. Cooking does not make anybody rich, and I give you that. You have to keep your head down and work hard, just like in your business.
Right.
Just like in your business. You got to strum a lot before you get noticed.
Sure.
Okay. The issue that I have right now is not really an issue, but I find that a lot of kids, they want to progress in the career very fast. They all want to become chefs in 2-3 years.
Right.
And it's very difficult. I come from the times I started working in 1974, and I started working under a chef that used to kick me just for the heck of it because you might do something wrong. Don't worry. Keep it in the bank,
Here's one for later.
in case I'm not around when you screw up next time.
I'll give you something to cry about.
Exactly, in case you screw up when next time. I cooked in kitchens where, I don't know if you're watching on YouTube, there is videos of Boiling Points over there with Gordon Ramsay. I worked in kitchens that were similar to that, but in those days, every kitchen was like that. You know what I mean? You just shut up and don't say anything. And now all you get is lip back constantly.
Right. In our industry, we see the shows like The American Idol and The Voice where they're trying to make one star. And also another thing that happens with your industry is you have a panel of people sitting back in the judgment seat choosing who's good and who's not.
Yeah.
And we see this with Yelp and things like that. People making their own little review when they're not a professional.
That's right.
And it just gets in the way of what we're doing sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
And to be a star and have to be younger and all the time and better looking, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And there's definitely a ladder to climb.
You think Keith Richards would have a chance in hell nowadays? Give me a break.
Yeah.
It doesn't look the part, right?
Right.
No, but it's very difficult. So my advice to young cooks is always that one. Go to work hard, keep your head down, observe and learn. Writing recipes, it's okay, but you know what? You got to learn the techniques. Then the recipes, you figure them out.
Well,
you know what I mean? That's the most important part.
I think that we're indebted for having you come today. Thanks for sharing your wisdom. And ladies and gentlemen, Capra's Kitchen is an incredible dining experience. They're going to be open soon, we hope. In the meantime, Wednesday to Sunday. From 3 o'clock, you can get some of this amazingness delivered to your house. So please check it out.
In Clarkson Village.
in Clarkson Village. What a pleasure. Thank you very much
Clarkson
for
Village.
coming in, Massimo.
All right, thank you very much for having me.
Cheers.
It's a pleasure. Good to see you.
Good to see you, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have something that we've never had before on the Tom and Rick Show. Is we are going to have this magical thing that we often discuss, music and specifically rock and roll, is going to meet academia and a different kind of music creation. We have a remarkable writer, academic here today. His name is Professor Rob Bowman. He is a 6-time Grammy nominee and a Grammy Award winner. He has a BA in musicology, an MFA in ethnomusicology, a PhD from the University of Memphis. He has interviewed Bob Dylan and Mick Jagger and has worked on box sets for Bob Dylan, the Rolling Stones, and Rush. Welcome to the show, Rob. Thank you very much for being with us here today.
Glad to be here. Hello, how are you?
We are doing well. Now, it feels like we could do an hour show on the first, 2 lines of your bio here. But we want to get through it all. And one of the things that really struck me when I was reading up about you was that you, in the 70s, early in your writing career, got a chance to interview Mick Jagger and Bob Marley. What was that experience like as a young writer?
I started writing for magazines when I was 15.
Wow.
Partially
Cool.
right place, right time, a whole lot of chutzpah. My first interviews were blues people like T-Bone Walker and John Lee Hooker, B.B. King, John Hammond, doing those when I was 15, 16 years old. My first cover story was Pink Floyd and the Dark Side of the Moon tour when I was 16. And you want to talk about cultural capital, take a day off from high school and have kids ask you, what were you doing yesterday? Why weren't you here? Saying I was hanging out with Pink Floyd, interviewing them. And it's an interesting experience.
Like, this has to be a movie at some point, right?
It is a movie.
It is. Well, there you go.
It's called Almost Famous.
Oh, right.
And Cameron Crowe, who wrote that movie, is a friend of mine.
Oh.
And Cameron started when he was 16 in San Diego. So we didn't know each other back then. We met each other later on as adults, but our careers, interesting enough, paralleled each other in a whole lot of different ways, except he went off into movies and I went off into being a professor and continuing to do, I've done over 300 CD reissues, 15 documentary films, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, Marley was in 1976. It was a couple days before or a couple days after my 20th birthday. I had fallen in love with Marley the year before. I saw the Natty Dread tour, and I thought I saw the second coming of Bob Dylan and Mick Jagger combined. Spent a year completely obsessed with Jamaican music. Spent that year hanging out at Jamaican record stores in Toronto, buying all sorts of singles, doing research beyond what most people would have done. And I don't know how much you want of this story, but it was kind of interesting because with Rastman Vibration, which was
We want all of the story.
Yes.
Okay. The album that I interviewed him while he was touring was Rastman Vibration. Now, after Natty Dread, Bob Marley exploded in the year between Natty Dread and Rastman Vibration. And so when I wanted to get that interview, Island Records in Canada loved me because I was the only one writing about reggae seriously at that time. And they were happy to try to get me it, but they were informed by Island UK and Marley's management he was only doing Rolling Stone in North America, and that was it. And of course, Rolling Stone did give him the cover. And so my guy at Island, fortunately, really believed in me and fought for me. And the deal was, okay, look, if he's going to do it anywhere, it's not going to be Toronto. Too many Jamaicans in Toronto who Bob knew, friends with, he's going to want to hang out. You could try Montreal. He's opening the tour in Montreal. They're getting there 2 or 3 days early. So there'll be days hanging out. Bob doesn't have friends in Montreal. Go to Montreal and we'll see. That's what we did. It was an interesting situation. Don Taylor was Bob's manager at the time. Don Taylor used to manage the Temptations. He's a Black American. Don liked to be a gangster. That was the sort of mentality. And Don invited us down, myself and the representative from Island, to his suite to basically suss me out to decide if I was worthy of a Bob interview. We talked probably half an hour, 40 minutes, and Don's being really aggressive, but fortunately, I got stuff that Don hasn't encountered up to that point. I brought singles, Bob's first single from '61 from Jamaica. Nobody's Bob has run into on his North American or European tours has things like this with him and has that knowledge. So Everything's going, I think, okay. Bob comes in the room, unannounced. Nobody greets him. Nobody acknowledges him. Bob's got a soccer ball. Bob does keep-ups. Anybody knows soccer knows keep-ups off the ankle, off the chest, off the knee, and so on. He does keep-ups for about 5 minutes, and he's whistling as he's doing them. And it's an odd situation. I'm obviously quite aware of this, but nobody's acknowledging Bob, so I don't. He's clearly listening and checking me out. He leaves the room, comes back in maybe 10 months later. Same thing. Maybe a slightly shorter period of time. This is very strange. I've been through a lot of interview situations, even by that age. Never seen this before. Anyway, Bob leaves, and eventually Don Taylor says, okay, fine, go to your room and I'll call you. And I'm saying, well, do we have an interview? And he goes, I'll call you. He's just playing the tough asshole that he was. I hope I can use that word on your show.
Sure
you can.
Anyway, we go back up to our room, and phone rings maybe 20, 30 minutes later, answer it, and Don just yells a room number. It's like, 226 now.
Wow.
Clunk. Go down to 226. There's Bob. There's Bob and Seco Patterson, who is the percussionist that was a lot older than Bob, and sort of mentored Bob in Trenchtown. And Bob basically took on the road with the Wailers for his lifetime, basically because he liked Seco. And it was, a thank you in some way. Seco wasn't too essential to the whole thing. Seco's lying on the floor in the hotel room. Bob's sitting at this little round table. Now, there's an interesting story to this as well. The Wailers had never been to Montreal before. It was their first show on the tour. They flew from Jamaica. They did not bring any ganja with them. They expected it'd be easy to score locally, or the people from Ireland would have stuff, or whoever. Well, I didn't bring anything with me. Every Jamaican artist I'd ever interviewed, I'd interviewed a ton up to that point, Burning Spear, Toots and the Maytel, Third World. They always had far superior ganja than I would ever find, and in copious quantities. And the guy from Ireland, the guy named Liam Mullen, same thing. So for 3 days, the Wailers literally had no weed. And for a guy who'd smoked daily his whole adult life, this was a very different Bob Marley. I think I may have the only straight interview he ever gave, and I mean that sincerely.
You're probably
it was
right.
a bizarre
Like
situation.
you don't have enough stuff on your resume already. You have to have that one.
It was crazy. And everybody was hitting me up. Everybody in the band, every time they'd see me anywhere at the hotel, they'd be hitting me up going, surely they figured I had hair down to here. I must be able to find
some
them.
weed.
No,
Right.
I didn't know anybody in Montreal. I had no connections. And so it was kind of interesting. And Bob, when we actually did the interview, somehow he had got a tiny bit of ganja, enough to roll an extraordinarily thin Canadian joint. Certainly not a spliff. He rolled it, he unrolled it, rolled it, unrolled it.
Just
This is
hoping
when
it'd
we're
get
first talking. Finally, just picks it up and throws it against the wall. Never lights it. Never actually, licks the rolling paper to seal it. He was so frustrated. Anyway, it was an amazing interview. Bob ended up at the end of it. We talked for, I guess, 2 hours on tape.
Wow.
Bob, at the end of it, he gave me this huge hug and asked me if I wanted to come on the tour bus with him.
Yes.
So I ended up on Bob Marley's tour bus. This was also interesting. Marley would sit at the front of the bus. Everybody else sat at least 3-4 rows and further back. Again, nobody told me this. It was just clear. This is how things happened. Bob had his space. And he sat there looking very mystical and, in his space. Meanwhile, we're going in Montreal to, I think it was Concordia. They're playing at a gym at Concordia University. And there was a unicyclist weaving through Montreal rush hour traffic on the way to the sound check. And this unicyclist was crazy. I mean, he was weaving in and out of traffic. And a unicyclist you don't see all the time anyway. And the Wailers are jumping up and down. People yelling, "Rascalad, you bumba!" Just, they're going crazy because this is hysterical what we're seeing. Bob, the mystic, doesn't move, doesn't flinch, doesn't respond. Just sits there in his leather jacket looking straight ahead, as he was the whole time in the bus. Anyway, we get to the sound check, and the techs are still busy setting some things up. So after being hit upon again to see if I couldn't score weed somewhere, out of boredom waiting for the techs to finish, they decided to have a soccer game. but nobody had soccer balls. So we had a soccer game with a beer cap on the gym floor. And I was invited to play soccer with the Whalers with a beer cup on the gym floor. Probably better a beer cap because they would have killed me in a real soccer game. Anyway, I mean, this is just 10 minutes of fooling around, but it was fun. It was an amazing, amazing experience. I've had a life of extraordinary experiences all over the world with all sorts of places most people don't get the opportunities to get to. You know, I've traveled with the Rolling Stones. It's been pretty incredible, but that is way up there as one of the all-time top experiences.
What a remarkable story.
Wow.
And I think, you know, we have to get Rob back because I want all of the stories now.
Yeah, of course.
But I would
You're
like
going to have me on for about 12 years. Hey, I'm joking.
You should do it
We can edit them down.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. What a treat we have for you today. One of my favorite Canadian singer-songwriters. He is a Juno Award winner. He is a SOCAN Writer Award winner. He is an amazing and interesting human being. Please welcome to the show, Tommy Swick. Tommy, how you doing?
How you doing, guys? Thank you for having me.
So, Tommy, tell us. The last time I caught up with you, you had just released Yukon Motel, and I have you.
We played a super fun show together.
That's right. That's right.
That was an awesome show.
We played at the Horseshoe, sold out at the Horseshoe. Yeah, that was super fun. So I've been following you on your social media, and as always, there's music on there, but there seems to be a real passion for the outdoors, living in a cabin, learning to hunt and fish and cook wild game. Is this something that came out of the isolation of COVID, or is this something that was ongoing?
It was ongoing. I grew up with my father when I was young. I mean, I grew up in downtown Hamilton. I mean, in Hamilton, all over Hamilton. But, you know, my formative years and, you know, my real growing up was downtown East End Hamilton. So it wasn't too much rural or, you know, forest area in that where I grew up.
Right.
But my father was very big into hunting, fishing, camping. My family's all been always into the outdoors. So it was something that I always was into. But for a long period of my life, I fished here and there and went to cottages, did that, but I kind of didn't do the real hardcore out like backwoods camping and hunting and like that kind of stuff that I really loved doing growing up. And I don't know, maybe about 8 years ago or something like that, I just said to my friend Pete, who I do a lot of my outdoor adventures with, I was like, dude, we got to get back to nature. This is something that's missing in both of our lives. And I think to be happier as we're getting older, this is something we need to reconnect with. And so he said, you know what, I'm gonna start saying yes to everything. So we just started doing all these adventures, kayak trips, canoe trips, camping trips, fishing trips, hunting trips. And over the past few years, it really kind of ingrained itself back into my life. And just 8 months ago or so, after a year and a half of searching, my friend Pete and my friend Neil decided to buy some land about 7 hours north of Hamilton. And we're building our own lodge up there. Yeah, north. And it's across the lake. There's no way in there.
Past Brantford, where I'm from.
A little bit past Brantford, yeah.
Now, Tommy, has this new connection with the outdoors, has it affected your music and your songwriting?
It's definitely pulled me out of a lot more. Like, I mean, I've always kind of had pop sensibilities in some of the writing, and, you know, my earlier stuff definitely was pushed that way more. That's what they kind of thought I would be and, you know, wanted me to be. But I've always been kind of a grittier guy. Anyone who knows me personally knows that. And I think the progression from my second record to my last record, from my last record was Warner Brothers to my first record was Slate, which was the Yukon Motel, which was more of a roots record. And now from that progression to this, to where I'm getting to now, I definitely think being in the outdoors has calmed me down a bit and give me a little bit of perspective of just giving it some space and letting things breathe and not worrying about don't bore us, get to the chorus and all that kind of stuff that I was kind of always thinking of. So yeah, it definitely has settled me down a little bit.
And is there anything you can play? Is there anything, I mean, I love the songs I know, but is there anything like, say, born of this experience or born during the lockdown that you can share with us?
Yeah, so here's the thing. So I planned on playing some new stuff today that I'm super pumped about.
Right.
But I woke up with a bit of a sore throat, and it's really hard. It's harder for me to sing. It's kind of in the world of, I'd say, you know, Van Morrison meets Black Crowes meets Ray LaMontagne meets, you know, somewhere in that soul. Things. Yeah. So I was gonna do some of that, but I woke up. I can't really sing that well, so I don't want to.
Way to tease the people.
Hey, it happens.
I know.
It happens, man.
Well, we'll be happy with whatever you played us.
I'll send a link that maybe we can share for a new video thing that we did.
Oh, perfect.
Recently.
Yeah, okay.
So and you'll see the full band and what we're doing.
Cool.
But I just don't have the voice for it today. But I do have a song that pertains to it, because on my second record I had a song that I wrote in the North actually, and it's called Mine All Mine. It's a song that I wrote basically about sitting out. I know I'd gone through a disastrous breakup at the time, and I was sitting out at a dock up north, and I just wrote "Look at the Stars" thing, and I was like, man, the world's a big place. Life's long. Life's a journey, and screw this. I don't want to be worried about this. The world is my oyster. It's all of our oysters if we go after it, you know?
Right.
And so I wrote this song. I wrote a song based on that, and it's fitting for what's happened with COVID. We have so many things taken away from us, so many things delayed, and so many things put off because of this pandemic. And you know, it's a scary time for everybody, but it's also a time for us to reinvent ourselves, you know, and to realize that, you know, we do have a lot of things that we can do without the distractions of the world that we have day to day that have been, you know, we've been forced to realize. So this song I thought might be appropriate considering my terrible voice today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Tommy Swick live.
Try it out. It's called Mine on Mine. If I could spend my life outside by a boat and sail the world, I could watch the stars go by, 'cause it's mine, oh mine, mine, oh mine, oh yeah. If I could see the world turn around to lift my soul in joy, the sky, I could watch the ground stroll on, 'cause it's mine, oh mine, mine, oh mine, always high. Well, if I could see the sun go down to wait along the steep sunlight, I could watch the moon chase behind, 'cause it's mine, oh mine, mine, oh mine, mine, oh mine.
Well, that
There you
was
go, Lloyd.
beautiful.
Awesome.
I didn't hear that.
I didn't hear it either.
That was beautiful. And you know what I love about it so much is, and this is with all your writing, and I've seen you now for a decade at least singing and writing
yeah.
songs. It never feels like someone's trying to sell me something. It feels like someone is writing their truth.
And there's nothing
I
wrong
have,
with your voice. It sounds amazing.
Yeah, your voice sounds great. I wish we had you in the studio today so
Yes.
we could like
I'm sorry,
put
you know
all
what?
this
I'm so
stuff
sorry.
on. But
know
you know,
I'm doing some stuff right now around here, and my friend of mine's mother sadly passed away, and so we're working on some tunes for
beautiful.
for a charity thing for her. So that's why I couldn't be out there today. But yeah, man, I'd love to. It's Tom. I got you know, we go way back, and honestly, the players that you know, guys, like all the people that you guys know that I know. It's a great community to be in, so I'm lucky to be in this pool with these monsters, with all of you guys, you know?
well, that's a beautiful thing. Tommy, can you
Great-
tell the people
great
how to
songwriting.
find you, how to find that song, and where they can catch up with you and see what's going on?
So I'm on my Facebook. My label's pleading with me to get more involved on social media, which is something that I'm trying to do a bit. But I mean, I don't really buy into the whole. I know that's the new thing, and I know that they want us to open our lives up completely to the world. But I still am kind of on the old guard about that, you know. So I will be posting music things and things about my life. You can catch me on my Instagram, which is just Tommy Swick, TOMISWICK, or on my Facebook, which I'm always on. There's those two. There's like a music site and a personal site, but I'm always posting public stuff. So you can just look me up and look for the big ginger bearded
Juno winner.
Yeah, that'll be me.
We're 5 Junos, 0 for 5 in this household, that's for sure.
Oh man, well, you know what? I'm lucky. I lost to Nelly Furtado. I was just happy to be nominated there, but when I won, I definitely didn't think I was going to win, so it was a complete surprise.
Well,
so
I'm glad you did. We are glad you did. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the amazingly talented Tommy Swick. Please check him out online. We will put a link so he's easy to find. Tommy, thanks a lot for making the time.
Love you guys. Thank you so much.
We'll be right back.
Cheers.
Thanks, buddy.
Oh, that's fantastic, guys. Thank you for having me.
Man.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Tom and Rick Show. We have a dear friend who's actually been on the show as a singer-songwriter performer.
Yes.
My ear things are falling out, but that's okay. We're professionals, and I will do this. It is a great pleasure to have Catherine Harrison here today. Catherine, how you doing?
Good. How you guys doing? Nice to see you.
Great to see you.
You look great.
You do. You look. And
Likewise.
You have your books and your whole branding, and that is sort of part of what this book is about. Here's the book right here. If I could get these earphones to stay in, it'd be great. Here's the book right here. 3 colors, 12 notes. I really enjoyed reading it. And just before we get into the guts of the book, we've had quite a few artists over the months here who have all found time to do other things. Now, was this something that you had on the go milling around in your head, or was this, wow, COVID has given me the gift of time, I'm going to do something with it?
So a little bit of both. I had certainly a rough draft about a year ago, so pre-COVID, but emphasis on rough. A bunch of the stories had yet to be really strung together in any cohesive way. And I wasn't even sure how I was going to do it. I've referenced this analog before. Like I was kind of thinking of just Jerry Maguiring the whole thing, right? Just going to Staples and printing off a bunch of copies and making my own cover and going to Bobby's and getting it printed.
Because that's what we do.
My trunk.
Yeah.
Right. That's what we do, right? You could kind of hustle, you make it happen. So that was kind of in the works. And actually 2020 was going to be a year of quite extensive travel for me from a work perspective. And so by end of February-ish, that all evaporated because Europe was starting to go into, lockdown,
right,
et cetera. And within a couple of weeks, it's like, okay, I am not doing any work for the next 4 to 6 months. And
Turned into 9?
And this was born.
And the book was written.
And so the baby gestated. So yeah, I took a moment to really sit down and think, if I've got these extra weeks, if not months, afforded me, what am I going to do with it? Because I really did see it as not only obviously tremendously upheaving and stressful like everybody, but I was like, oh, okay, I've got all this time. I love to create. I love to do stuff. What am I going to do while I'm here? So I just moved the back burner project right to the, epicenter of my game plan, and got it done, got a book company, got an editor, and just basically focused on that until about end of September when some of my clients started coming back. But by that point, we were obviously, full bore ahead.
But by that point, you were what we call in the business an author.
Yes,
right.
I was.
Now let's get into the book. First of all, the title: 3 colors, 12 notes. So all art, all painted art, is made up of 3 colors, and there are only 12 notes for all music. how did that concept become the title of the book?
Well, it's a sentence in the book. There's a section on originality, which I had probably initially wrote many years ago. As a songwriter, as a painter, as a business person who works in this space, where there's not really a lot of new fundamental ideas. There's different ways of looking at it and massaging it and contextualizing it. And I was always kind of musing about, the alchemy of it all is that the root elements, those fundamentals are all the same. So what is it that actually makes something original or causes somebody to create something that people go, oh my God, I love that. And part of it was a certain sense of familiarity, that part of new stuff that people dig is a sense of familiar. And the other part is just that their authentic expression of that stuff, of those root elements in their own sort of fresh, contextualized way. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose there's different ways of being original. One is, Rick could write a really cool Beatley chord progression, and it's just Beatley.
It's familiar.
And it's familiar, but if I put a lyric on it that's something completely different and something authentic to me, I'm original in my authenticity.
Yeah.
Yes.
I suppose the thing about the Beatles was they mushed together things that had never been mushed together before,
right.
and it was in the mushing. I think that's a technical term.
I love it.
In the new mushing, something original was born. But as you point out, it is things that are already around. It's just a new way of
looking at it.
Of looking at
interpretation.
Or contextualizing, as authors say.
So, that is author speak for mushy. So. But, so what did the Beatles do, right? They became these alchemists, these catalysts. They took all that stuff that they loved, right? The Chuck Berry stuff, the Buddy Holly stuff, the blues stuff.
Yeah.
They took it all together and kind of went into their lab and went, ooh, that's kind of interesting. So that's the whole notion of 3 colors, 12 notes, and the alchemy of creativity is, do you afford yourself, do you give yourself permission to kind of get into the lab and open yourself up to see what happens when you start putting things together and catalyzing different things.
And it's interesting, another thing that's happened, and Rick and I have found this with a lot of the artists we've interviewed, is the music business is basically a disaster financially. We're not happy with it and we're fighting against it, but basically with Spotify, it's a disaster. And that has given a lot of artists the freedom to say, there's no money in this game anyway, I may as well make my own authentic, creative piece of art. So at least I have that. And I find your approach to originality is very interesting, but the book itself is very interesting because it is, there's life coaching. I know this is part of what you do in your other businesses. There's life coaching. It's a bit of a memoir because it's about you and your experiences and how you've come to these revelations. It's a bit of a motivational book where there's reflections and exercises that people can do to maybe go through and understand what their processes are. So if you were going to be put in a section in the bookstore, where do you think your book would most comfortably fit? Would it be in the self-help? Would it be in the art section? Or is it the mush that we were talking about?
I think it would be in a new section called Mush.
Right, excellent.
In fact, I'm going to go down to chapters once it's open again, and I'm going to say, excuse me, I want an actually end aisle display titled Mushiness and Alchemy. You know what, it could, depending on, again, there's the context thing again, because it could go in, certainly in the self-help, which, within that category, there's tons of different explorations. It certainly could go in the space around creative arts, possibly even philosophy when it comes to memoirish philosophy, like thinking about your life and the world and how things intersect.
And I love some of the philosophers you pick. You pick Dr. Seuss.
Yes,
you
I
quote
did.
Alice in Wonderland. These are philosophers that I understand. So it's not philosophy and here's what whoever, Plato's. It's not about Plato.
I thought I was a...
You are our philosopher on the show. But
You're
it's
in the
such
next book.
It's such a neat, philosophical point of view that you bring up sometimes, and sometimes with your own song lyrics.
Yeah. Yeah, I am by nature and have always been very curious and very creative, not capital C, but I just like to make stuff, right? I like to notice, I like to learn, and I like to make stuff. I like to try, and I like to quickly discard, and I like to say, oh, I'm going to throw that out, but that's really cool. I'm going to take that nugget and see what else I can do. So the notion of this book coming together in a cohesive way was also a bit of an experiment, because I was taking all of these reflections, right? My personal life in various forms, and also my business life, my corporate life, my leadership development life, my running a business life, my coaching life.
Your songwriter life.
My songwriter life, my painter life, and trying to notice and articulate, well, what are some of those things that intersect? Where are some of the places in my life that I've tried to keep them really separate, painfully?
Right.
Because quite frankly, it's tough to always be cleaving off and hiding parts of yourself. But where does one part of yourself inform and flavor and nuance another part of yourself? And I think that's really interesting too. So in much of what I do in the business world and in the corporate world, I'm constantly trying to encourage the business types, like loosen up a little, man. Like, step away from the narrative,
right?
Because you're a whole human being in there. There's probably tons of stuff that you like and do and love to explore and create that you don't allow yourself to bring to work. And I think that it actually brings a lot of value to your workplace and to the people that you lead or the people that you work with when you do that.
I think it's a great concept, the whole human being, and maybe instead of, we often use the expression, the person that wears many hats, maybe they just have one weird hat. And they wouldn't have to be so, throwing all of these identities around. Well, the book is called 3 Colors, 12 Notes. It is really fun. It's a self-help book, but I generally shy away from those because I find them sort of like,
so do I.
Well, I figured everything out in the world, and I am wise, and you should read my thoughts. But it's really not that. It is, more diverse than that, and for my taste, more interesting than that. Before we have to let you go, Catherine, where can people get this book? And have I missed anything that you wanted to bring up about it?
No, you haven't missed anything. I really appreciate you having read it and certainly chatting with me about it. They can get it at, the Big A, Good, Bad, or Sad, and Chapters. You can get the ebook at Chapters now. The book is supposed to be there, but it is coming. So Chapters Indigo. I'm trying to get them into all the local bookshops as well,
right,
to encourage people to go to their local booksellers and say, hey, can you order this? And then, for the local folks like you guys, I'm selling some out of my car as well.
Well, how about this? How about if we told the people of the show, these beautiful people that tune in every week, that they could pick it up here? Could we get a few in stock, and
sure.
and someone could just say, and you and I can work out all the details of what the retail percentage is. We should get a piece of that, right?
$5.
Okay.
As long as they don't mind the massive upcharge, then I think that'll be totally fine.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
Tom and Rick Show can be my book consignment shop #1.
We would be happy to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, the book is called 3 Colors, 12 Notes. It is Catherine Harrison. Please check it out. It makes an excellent Christmas gift. You can pick one up right here at the studio. And thanks very much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thanks, guys. And I think you're one of the first people I've said this to, but Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Yes,
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Stay safe.
First ones as well.
Thanks, Catherine, and we will be right back.
Cheers, guys.
You're watching the Tom and Rick Show. Check out my new delivery company serving the Port Credit area. Community Pickup Service. www.communitypickupservice.ca. Let's support local. Let's shop local. Let's put the unity back in community, Port Credit.
1, 2, 3, 4.
If your turkey's dry, you can save it with cranberry sauce. Feed Santa Claus. It's such a simple recipe. Carson will show you it's easy. Carson will show Very good, Tom. Very good, Tom. Very good, Tom.
Hey guys, this is Cooking with Carson. Thank you for that fantastic introduction, Tom and Rick. I'm going to make today a fantastic sauce that you can have with your Christmas dinner. Of course, it's cranberry sauce. But before I get to my sauce, let's talk about our good friend of the show, Jeff Salem. Jeff Salem makes his own brand of hot sauces called Salem's Lot, Scary Hot Sauces. And last Thursday, he was on Dragon's Den in front of the Dragons. He represented himself so well, but also represented the music community. We're so proud of him. Jeff, great job. And you want to see that show and you want to see the outcome. It was fantastic. Okay, getting back to hot sauce. Cranberry sauce, not hot sauce. Getting back to my sauce, what we're doing today is cranberry sauce, and what I have today is a mise en place. Okay, we've talked about this. Radiohead has sung about it. Everything in its right place, and everything is right in place to go into the pot. So, of course, the star of the show, some beautiful bright red cranberries. Out of all the berries, this has probably the most fantastic colors, and once we make it into a sauce, it just has that fantastic color that really stands out on your Christmas table or Thanksgiving. It's made for turkey often. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna get my hot plate going in here, my burner. And what we're doing is, like I said, everything is here, everything is in place, and we're just gonna add them into the pot, and this is gonna do all the work for us. So this is a package of cranberries. What happens is back in the day when you got those, you really had to go through them. There often were rotten ones. I still do that. I put them in a colander and I clean them. But generally speaking, most of the berries you get nowadays are all consistently great. Most berry sauces, like cranberry sauce, we're going to add some apple. Apple's a very neutral flavor. Some of the flavors of the cranberries will be kind of exhilarated by the apple because it's going to kind of bring out the sourness, and it's going to add a creaminess to it like you have in applesauce when you put that through the berries. I have some oranges here. I'm going to add a little bit of orange juice. Although this is a big navel orange that's cut in half, it's seedless. It's mainly just the juices. It's not going to overpower, but it's just going to add that citrus flavor that gives cranberry sauce its flavor. And what I've done, which is really the essence of an orange, is the peel. I'm going to put a few rinds of the peel. The spices today are going to be some cinnamon. I have some cinnamon sticks, okay? Beautiful cinnamon sticks. And I have some star anise. It's kind of the star of the show today. Beautiful star anise. And some cloves. Now, often what I would do is I put cloves in there. And the tricky part about this sauce is getting those cloves out because nobody wants to bite into a clove. It's just kind of a really, it's not one of those, it's one of those pops of flavors, but it's not one that you want in your mouth all at once. So what I have is I have a very little bit, like 1/3 of a teaspoon of ground clove. The reason I only have a small amount is just like cinnamon, we remove the cinnamon stick and it gives off its essence. That's what cloves do as well. Now, a lot of kids don't like cranberry sauce, not because of the tartness, but because of those what I call regal flavors, those spices that you get out of the cinnamon, the star anise, and the cloves. So if you want to make it a little more friendly cranberry sauce, you can remove those spices. But for me, that kind of gives that Christmas flavor. So with no further ado, first thing into the pot is, you guessed it, some cranberries. And what these are going to do, they're going to start to cook and burst with flavor. I'm going to add a little bit of water just to get it started, okay? And then I'm going to squirt in some orange juice. These are seedless oranges, so I don't have to worry about seeds getting in there. If not, what I would do is I would squeeze the orange into a cup first, and I kind of get the seeds out of there, like I did with my hummus recipe. Thanks for the love I got for that last week. Okay, 2 oranges. Okay, I got my orange zest. This is a really big piece from the navel orange, so I'm just going to throw that right in there. I got 1 stick of cinnamon. I got my apple in there. I got my cloves, the star anise. We do want to fish this out of there after. It's going to be, there's some jagged edges there. Sugar, this is about 3/4 of a cup. It seems like a lot. I'll talk about that in a bit. And I got about 1.5 teaspoons of ginger. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start stirring these all together. Okay? Now, let's talk about the sugar. There's a lot of sugar in cranberry sauce. But the sugar, what it does is it's going to actually create the sauce. It's what's going to bring the cranberry sauce together, okay? It's going to create that glaze. And as this cooks down, the cranberries are going to fill with the water and the juices. They're going to absorb the sugar and the flavors, and they're going to puff up. You might see some of these cranberries actually popping and bursting, okay? But this process is literally all done by the pot. Everything is going to cook together. The flavors are going to bind together, and it's just going to reduce until we get that beautiful sauce that we see on our Christmas table when we're celebrating Christmas dinner with, well, the people that we've been kind of quarantined with throughout the lockdown, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take a short break, and I'm going to show you what this sauce looks like when it comes all together. Hey guys, the cranberry sauce is finished. Just check out the color in this, okay? Beautiful, beautiful color. We have a fantastic burgundy.
Sorry, let's do that again.
Yeah.
That camera looks like shit.
This one?
No, it's just this.
Well, my angle was like all over
the.
the.
Overexposed. I'm not getting into what's happening with the lighting in here, but.
Yeah, Neil had a few.
Yeah, he's all. It's never the same twice, or Neil, is it?
Never the
same
shot twice. I'm just gonna see where this is gonna sit.
This one, Les.
So I have to do a clapper anymore. How much sugar we put into this. But really, when you're eating the sauce, it really is a condiment. It's not the main dish. It just adds a lot of flavor. And when you're making a Christmas dinner, sugar's not a big component within that, okay? This just adds that little pop. And this is just fantastic. I'm gonna put it into a bowl here. Absolutely beautiful side dish. Now, what I like to do as kind of a neat idea, what you can do is for Thanksgiving in Canada, we have it in October. That's when our harvest season is celebrated and we give thanks, which we should always do. Just think about it. Almost every celebration we have is being thankful for something, okay? But what I like to do is during Canadian Thanksgiving, make about 3 times the amount of this, and we can preserve it. And they're great gifts to our American friends on American Thanksgiving, or we can actually preserve it for our Christmas here. And they're great little gifts for those people you just don't know what to get. Put them in a little jar, and it's really fantastic that way. Okay, before I did this and put it into the ramekin today, I took away the star anise and the orange rind and the cinnamon stick, okay? So guys, Merry Christmas to you. We still have a few more weeks till Christmas, but this is something you can make in advance. It'll be ready. It pairs perfectly with turkey, and of course, with your Freeman Brothers Merry Little Christmas CD, okay? So we're selling these. Thank you so much, everyone who bought it. To the Tom and Rick Show, thanks for having me. Have a great week, guys.
Single shooting star, so you are not alone. We were taken by surprise, never thought hours turn to days, and minutes turn to night. You are not alone. And if we get through this unscathed, and if we reach a brighter day, I want you to know that I'll be waiting on the other side. Yes, I'll be open, down, and right inside. If time can buy us time, can give us time, and I'll be back in a while, so you know you're not alone. Through rain and shine, we are close and just behind the line. I'm watching from afar. Yes, I know where you are, and you are not alone. And if we get through this unscathed, and if we reach a brighter day, I want you to know that I'll be waiting on the other side. Yes,